Hello and welcome to the Data Career Academy podcast. This is a show dedicated to closing the information gap between data job seekers and hiring authorities about the challenging data analytics job market. My name is Albert Bellamy. I'm the host of the show, and it's my goal to highlight aspiring data analysts and their abilities in order to get them hired, to spotlight recent hires and how they successfully navigated the hiring process, as well as to find out from real industry experts what the job market looks like from the hiring side and how all of that can benefit you, the listener. So let's get into today's episode. Now, oh well, all's well that ends well. Well, all right. Today, my guest is Matt Brattin, and Matt and I go way, way back. All the way back to before I even retired from the Marine Corps. Matt was on the How to Get an Analytics Job podcast multiple times, in fact.
Mm.
And that's where we first rubbed elbows. And it's been, call it what it is, kind of a mentor of mine ever since. I have several t-shirts that he's designed. Yeah, exactly. So Matt is the purveyor of TMB Analytics. He most recently came out of the corporate grind and is now fully in business for himself. So Matt, if you could tell the people whatever I've missed on the highlights here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, it's exciting to be here, and it's us. It's exciting. I think that saying that we've known each other for a while, it's so funny to think that we really have. Like this is going on several years, and to see how things have developed over time it's wonderful. And I'm really excited about what you're doing here for the analytics community. And you've definitely got the street cred to pull it off and be a man to stand behind and believe in. So I appreciate you having me on here and thinking of me. So I don't know that there's a whole lot that I would want to bring up that you didn't just mention. I did 20 years of corporate financial planning and data analytics, always leaning very heavily into the data side of things because that's just what I find most interesting. I rose through the ranks from a junior analyst all the way up to a CFO of a private equity backed software vertical serving the nonprofit space. And I was in that role for the better part of the last 3 years. And 1 month ago, I decided to go out and strike out on my own. And so I'm out here trying to live my best life, catch up on some things, create some things, and just have fun and say yes to projects like this where I get to come and be myself and hopefully help some others out in the process.
Absolutely. It feels like, I'm always over planning the crap out of things. So I'm already thinking, wow, we should do a whole nother episode talking about like transitioning into starting your own business. And I know you, me and Abe did something like that a while back, but first things first. So we're talking before the show that Matt has been in the hiring space, was never the hiring guy, not a hiring manager, but was in interviews, was in the screening process, was in the reading process. So we've had some recruiters on here, but Matt's the first person that's actually been in that room and either making or contributing to the final decision. Matt, if you could kind of run us through, hey, what's your career been like as far as being a person that brings on talent, brings on labor?
Yeah, it's you mentioned like recruiters and other folks who kind of get that front row seat. And depending on the organization that I've been a part of, I've had more or less opportunities to sort of play that front row role where I'm actually screening resumes and doing all of that initial review. And as my career has progressed, I do less and less of that. So it all started like probably a good 15 or so years ago that I started getting asked to jump in on interviews. And mostly it was sort of a fit circumstance where part of a big team, and I was just another voice who could say like, yeah, this is going to be a good fit, or I don't know, you might want to look into XYZ for other people who are going to have those conversations.
Yeah.
And then as I moved onward to like building my own teams, then I was a lot more of that pipeline and ultimately being the decision maker. And then outside of my space of like more of the finance and analytics, I get called in on, you know, other executive interviews, higher level candidates where fit is important, but so is
Hmm.
leadership and other qualities that just need a lot more um, of a soft touch in an interview to kind of
Hmm.
really get a vibe for whether or not it's something that we feel good about. And those flags that you raise as you move up in the career, they start to hold a little bit more weight. And so it's, yeah, I've gotten to see a lot. And never mind the many, probably 100 or so interviews that I've been the one being interviewed. I think
Yeah.
that I've been in on both sides of the table enough that, yeah, I've got a few reps under my belt.
Yeah. When was the last time you actually sat for an interview?
Believe it or not, like if I want to be like completely honest and transparent, just a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it was not planned and it
Gotcha.
didn't really go anywhere. But sort of just like the timing of my transition going
Hmm.
out on my own, there was like these sometimes life does weird things, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's to test you, sometimes it's to open up a window and make sure that you want to go through the door you're walking towards.
Hmm.
I had a couple of really interesting opportunities pop up to the point that I decided to go in and like hear people out and talk
Yeah.
to folks. And yeah, so there was more than I think three different opportunities that I was humoring over the past, I'll call it 2 months. And I had a handful of interviews through those processes. And it's fun. I like interviewing. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
That's and maybe I've got enough reps that I don't take it as seriously as a lot of other folks do. I go in more like, what do you have to offer, rather than, oh geez, please pick me. It's like I don't care. And I think
Yeah.
in a lot of ways that helps. It's disarming, and it
Oh,
puts
it
me in a
totally
position
flips the
of
power
power.
dynamic too, because you're
Yeah,
you're almost interviewing them. It's like I don't need this job. Like
I'm
you tell
absolutely
me
interviewing.
why I should come work here. Like
Yeah,
sell me on the job. I'm not selling, you called me in.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I love that example too for people because like you're keeping irons in the fire. Like I know, you have your plans and we all have our kind of grand life plan. I'm going to do this in 5 years, this in 2 years. But life changes your plans. And
always. Yeah,
I fully intended to keep working at Omnicom, kind of long term. And then, Alteryx said, "Hey, we got a job." And I said, I'll come talk. And yeah, and same way, it was like, I don't need this job. You tell me why, why I
yeah.
should come here.
You called
Um,
me. What's
yeah,
going on?
exactly. So that's a very good seat to be in. Those of you that are, out there flying the green banner and, the bills are coming due, I get it. Like you may not feel that way going into an interview, but if you can kind of cultivate that, that attitude, the subtle art of, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it totally changes the ball game.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think that what you just said is an important point to call out. It's such, I don't want to call it cheap, but it's low hanging fruit for people to say like,
Hmm.
no, it's not fair. Like you don't know what it's like, but it's like, you know what? Like put on the pants that day and just decide that no, I want to be show up as this person, and you can
Yeah,
do it. Show up as that person, and you're in control, and things are going to work out the way that they need to work out. I think the most important thing is that you're not putting on masks or doing anything like that. It's more about how can you get yourself so relaxed that it's like, I don't need this job. I'm not desperate. Even if, yeah, you got bills to pay,
yeah,
it's important that you show up for your own self with the intention of getting the information you need about whether or not this is a good life opportunity for you. Like that's it.
yeah, yeah. I did a video a while back where I dorked out probably more than I probably should have for like, effective YouTube impact. Um, but went through the statistical analysis of, okay, how many interviews do you actually have to go on to make it probable that you're going to get a job, all other
Yeah.
things being equal. Um, but you have to go in with that attitude. Hey, there's no one unicorn job. Like you're going to have to interview a handful of times, most likely, in order to finish first at least one time. And yeah, you
Hmm.
can't you can't be so hung up on that one job like, hey, if I don't get this one, I'm going to starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to know it's going to be a multi-step process for each job hunt.
Mindset. It's everything.
Yeah. So like obviously you've seen it from all aspects and you've seen it over a period of decades now. What trends are you seeing recently? Because we hear a lot of people saying, "Hey, it's a really tough job market, and and it's harder than ever to get in on the ground floor." What is it that you've seen from your unique perspective?
Yeah. It's hard to know if it's truly a harder job market. I mean, I think it is, but I think that these markets come and go.
Hmm.
Right now, I think they're blaming a lot on AI, and I think there's going to be a rebound at some point when a lot of these projects don't come to fruition, or we re-engage some level of traction and businesses start growing again with that new level set.
Yeah,
Um, it's fashionable right now to do like a riff and say it's because we've leveled up our technology. It almost feels like it's you see the big publicly traded companies calling out that that's what they're doing, and then everybody else is like, well, geez, what are we doing? And
hmm,
so boards are asking the question, what are you doing? Are you as efficient as you could be? Why aren't you using these new
yeah,
tools? And it creates a level of pressure, dare I say, peer pressure among corporations to say, like, well, I guess we got to find efficiencies. And then they're going to do it. And then things are going to happen. And then we're going to continue to grow, grow, grow. And there will be more opportunities. I sincerely believe that the AI boom and the way that just humans are, we will find more ways to be useful and to need resources. And so, anybody with technical skills, particularly analytical skills, you will be in demand. And if you put
yeah,
yourself in the position of keeping your skills up to date and being like well aware of what the market is up to, I think you are very well positioned to go in and have smart conversations with recruiters and hopefully, land a position just with your ear to the street, I guess.
yeah. What do you? I mean, I did something recently just talking about traits and traits of what sets people apart in the analytics field. What traits did you look for in job candidates?
I curiosity is the easiest one to point to,
Yeah,
and the way that that gets displayed is just it's kind of a shorthand for saying, hey, somebody who actually wants to talk to me and not just answer
yeah,
questions, right? um, it's a concept that we talk about in the field itself, is like, you don't want to be the order taker. You want to be the person who's creating value and having smart exchanges and helping drive the business, not just take orders. And that starts at the interview stage, where you're not just sitting back waiting for the next question. You're actually engaging with uh, provocative thoughts
hmm,
and feedback of your own. It's something that I like to do in interviews as well, where when there's a question asked, you follow your response with either a question of your own or something that leads the conversation at least a little bit off track from what a normal script would say,
yeah,
so that you can show a little bit of humanity, that if you take someone off script, they're forced to pay attention.
hmm.
Um, and
So you're talking
I
about
think that's
you
good.
as the job seeker taking the interviewer off script.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like we're having this conversation right now, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, these are really good questions. Like, what kind of research did you do to come up with this list of questions, Albert? You're such a wonderful interviewer. Where did you come up with all of these?
I'm just that awesome, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like you kind of inject something, and it could be about the
Yeah.
business. It's like you asked about this. Does that mean that you guys are doing XYZ here? Oh, interesting. Okay, I've seen that, or I haven't seen that, or I'd like to
Hmm.
see how you do that. It's something as simple as that that kind of forces like, oh, this is additional information beyond what I asked. Let me
Yeah.
pay attention so I can take it in, and then you become you're that person when they leave the interview that there was a lot more than just what they were going in looking for,
Yeah. And they're
right?
not just comparing like Albert gave this answer
This
to question
answer.
3 and Matt
Yeah,
gave this answer and which was the better. Yeah.
exactly.
I
Yep.
get that. Um, yeah, so I mean to stand out in the interviewer's mind, I mean like what what were like red flags for you? Like if someone did this that maybe is not commonly known, where you were like, I don't know about this person.
I mean, there are the more commonly known things, such as just like giving very short answers
Mhm.
or um, acting as if you don't want to be there or that you're bothered by being
Oh
there.
yeah,
Like that should not come as a surprise to anybody. And I get, look, um, believe it or not, I'm introverted and sometimes I'm not in a mental space to like have certain conversations. And so
hmm
I understand what it means to have stress or anxiety or be nervous. I think that's normal. Um, but that's not necessarily an excuse to just act disinterested and give 1 to 3 word answers.
yeah.
So I say that that shouldn't be a big secret. So that's not a very good answer to your question. Like something that's less known.
I'm looking for insight here, Brattin. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
man.
And I'm thinking about insight. Like what
In an ironic twist, I mean, you just told me like give an unexpected answer to a question, and here you are just smacking low hanging fruit all day.
I know, I know. I should be fired.
What am I paying you
Unexpected.
for this? Oh, that's right, nothing.
It this may qualify. Some people do make up their mind very quickly, but one solid
Okay.
answer can change it. I would so I think my point is like it's not
Get
over
that
till
like
it's
sound
over.
bite.
Yes, it's
Okay.
like if you at least land one freaking solid soundbite, that will resonate. Now you don't necessarily know if it landed or not, but a lot of times there's signs, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say that there's so much information out there that says like they will know in the first 20 seconds if they like you or not. So, you know what? For some people
Yeah, that
that's
doesn't give
true.
you much of a goal if you punt the
It
first answer. Yeah.
No, exactly. But like if you're this is a stupid sports analogy, but like now when you're watching games and like as the game progresses, it has like that statistical thing like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this team's gonna win, likelihood to win, and then at some point it may cross or go. That's what an interview's like.
Yeah.
You may flub that very beginning. Like someone may like run back the opening kickoff to a touchdown, and you may be like, "Well, this isn't going to happen," but you can still fight your way back. And so,
Yeah.
like, it's not over till it's over, and even then, it's not over because if you're talking to more than one person, the person that you're talking to may just be looking for something very specific, and maybe this is the unknown piece. The initial person is looking for something very specific. They're checking a couple of boxes. And if you don't check a box, you may need to advocate for yourself if you've got a strong feeling about the position. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out because
Yeah.
there's some reason like that. But then as you get further into the process, there's more people involved. And these are discussions behind the scenes. It's
Mm-hmm.
usually not just one person sitting at their desk. And there's always a chance, and so you have to
Yeah.
leave them with the soundbite. You have to leave them with like try to run that score up and make sure that you don't count yourself out just because you flubbed a question. I think that's
Yeah.
the point.
Well, it's not a calculus test too. It's like you're not,
Yeah.
hey, he got a 79 and I got a 74. So like there's pros and cons, and yeah, I love that point about the discussion after the fact. They're going to talk about you when you walk out of the room,
Yeah.
and they're going to keep taking notes based on that discussion. It's not just, cut print the minute you walk out. There's going to be a conversation about it. So speaking of the end of the interview, what's your impression? I'm sure you've had this happen where you're like, "Do you have any questions for us?" Nope, I'm good.
It
You answered them all.
yeah, it's people. This is another one of those where you hear all the time. Like there's no excuse. Everybody knows you should come with questions. And this isn't just like a hey, you need to ask a question, like you need to take your vitamins. That's not what this is about. I think the question behind the question is like, are you even interested in this position enough
Yeah,
that you've got original thought or things that you want to know beyond my preset list of questions?
yeah,
um, if you do a good job of being engaged and having a lot of back and forth, yeah, you may actually get a couple of your uh, preceded after the fact questions answered.
hmm
Congratulations. Ask another one. Like just keep
yeah,
going, like keep the conversation going. Keep a mental list, write down something that you want to say for the end. Don't just go, yep, thanks. You crushed it. Good job.
yeah.
Bye. Like that's it's very true. You should have a question at the end,
Do you
at
remember
least.
any particularly good ones that people asked you?
Usually the good ones, I don't know that I remember very many of these questions. I probably remember some of the more crappy ones actually, but
We could talk
the
about that too.
um the good questions are ones that just demonstrate that you've been listening or paying attention,
Okay. So
or
something that
that you
dovetails off of something
yeah,
you heard in the interview. Okay.
yes,
Interesting.
exactly. It shows that like, oh, you picked up on that thing, or
Yeah.
you allow me to like jump into the my business mode. And the reason for that is it allows me as a hiring person to imagine like you being a coworker. And now it's like we're not just talking about me figuring out who the heck you are. I'm now in a seat where I don't even have to imagine, like I'm answering a work related question. It's like this is something that we'd probably discuss on day one, but we might as well
Yeah.
get it out of the way now. And that gives me a real life read on, okay, he understands the business, or she understands the business, or
Yeah.
the pricing model, or the this or the that. Like that's that's super valuable feedback to know. Like, okay, great, I'm not going to have to handhold this person, and I mean that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. So it's I don't know if I'm giving away state secrets here, but
Please
we're
do.
both active on LinkedIn. We have an active group chat along with our bro Abe Diaz.
Oh yeah,
And so a constant topic of conversation is the prevailing attitudes of job seekers, of people that are out there on LinkedIn, often people that are complaining about things.
yeah.
What is the biggest misconception that you see? Maybe it was within people that actually came in for interviews, or just the conventional wisdom that's being bandied about in the job space. Like, what is it that you see and you're like, man, this person has no idea?
It it's not us against them. Like
Yeah,
I wouldn't have called you in to waste our time. Like, I want you to succeed. I want you to kick ass and be the one that I hire. Like, it is in no one's interest to bring in a candidate that is not someone that we are seriously considering offering a position to. And so I think people who come in as like victims out the gates, uh, that's just not a good look. And it's just wrong. And I think that if people came in knowing that like having a little bit more pride in the idea that I got the interview and now the ball is in my court, I get to take a deeper look at this company. I get to meet some of the people who work there, find out if this is a good fit, and then they get to ask the questions they need so that they feel good or otherwise about me. And then through that dialogue, we're going to come to an agreement together.
yeah,
And like I've rejected job offers before. I've pulled myself out of uh, whatever you call them, processes before. You could
Hmm.
do that too if something doesn't feel right. And the intent going in is never that end. The intent going in is someone is going to be chosen to fill this position. And
Yeah.
so just go in a little bit more head held high than woe is me and oh this is so hard. It's just it's not a good look and it's not going to leave you feeling good. And I think that's an important thing. So I know this is a touchy subject, and I hate
Yeah.
to say I feel like I got to bite my tongue a little bit because I don't want people getting the wrong idea and saying
Yeah.
like we have no idea we're disconnected. Like I agree to disagree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Veteran of quite a few interviews on both sides as well. And
Yeah,
yeah, 100% agree. Now, speaking of LinkedIn content, do you in your interviews was it common to go look the person up if you were interested? You're like, hey, this may be the one.
hundred
Would
percent.
you or would someone else in the chain be going to look, be like, hey, what's this person putting out on social media?
I would say 100% I do.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm more likely to have your LinkedIn up than your resume in front of me because it gives me usually more fodder to grab from and
Okay.
have discussions about. Um, and depending on where in the chain things are happening, 100 absolutely, like the recruiters are looking, like they're reviewing, they're making sure that things are good. They're not usually like looking for bad stuff. We're looking for
Hmm.
stuff that makes this is a way that I used to characterize it as like your resume is like your skeleton, and then the interview provides your soul. It's the rest of you,
Okay.
and it is what
Sucker for a good
makes you.
metaphor. Love it.
Yeah, it makes you the human that you are.
Yeah.
And I think what we're always looking for is more than just like your box checky resume. I'm looking for the person. And so
Yeah.
if I see something about, something interesting and maybe a little bit it's not hardcore professional, but it's something that makes you a little bit interesting. It gives me something to
Yeah.
talk about. And hopefully that's I'm always trying to bring that out of them, especially if I see that they're, trying to just be very reserved and answer questions. It's like, no, you got to give me more rope. I'm not going to try to
Yeah.
tie you up with it, but I need more. I need to see who you are because over time it's going to come out and we need to make sure that we're on the same page when it does.
Yeah. Well, that and I mean, you're looking for, like you said, there's got to be something that sets them apart and make them memorable.
Yeah.
If they don't hit that kind of killer soundbite, um, yeah, you're trying to think of. I remember looking for houses, and the realtor would tell us like there was this one house we went to where there was like a bunch of bees, like in the front yard, and he was like, okay, so that we can tell these houses apart, let's give them each a nickname. And
Yeah.
this one house was the bee house,
The bee
and it was
house.
there was nothing wrong with the house, but it was the bee house. That's why we remembered. It's like okay, this one. And then there was like the golf course house and but yeah, it's almost like that. Like if you see 10 people, especially if you see them, like would you generally see everybody in one day or would it be like spaced out?
It's usually a good practice to get them in as close proximity of
Hmm.
or time wise.
Make it easier to compare to each other?
Yes, because
Okay.
memories are short, and I think what you just called out is like it's so funny because it'd be like, oh, that's the chocolate guy or the
Yeah.
horse girl or the this or that. It's like there's usually like one thing that
Bad
we all
toupee
remember.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there is usually like, and if you don't have that thing, like there was nothing interesting that came out about you, then you're probably not going to be part of that conversation. And I think
Hmm.
that's why it's like you gotta do something in that
Yeah.
interview that makes you memorable. And I'm not talking about jumping up on the table and doing a backflip.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like bring yourself so that we
Yeah.
have something to grab onto and reference back.
2 words, pink tie. Go for it.
Pink tie.
Why not?
Yeah, he's a pink tie guy. That was
Yeah.
right. That was the one.
Awesome. So yeah, I would say if you could like Matrix phone call or like Vulcan mind meld one thing to all. We already touched on, hey, don't be negative, set yourself apart. The hiring manager is not your adversary. We're all on the same side. They want to fill the job. You want to fill the job. Same team, same fight. What else would you, I suppose, would you want to teach to everybody? Where's the, because this show is about closing information gaps between hiring authority and job seeker. What's one more thing, one nugget that you would just give to everybody? Like, all of you know this.
Since a lot of, well, maybe this is more universal than I'm about to try to make it, but like, because a lot of this is centered around like data and analytics and that sort of stuff, I would want you to go in with an objective that's beyond the interview. It's more like your own personal mission to get a piece of information. You're on a secret hunt, and you're going to cut, like, I'm going to come out knowing what BI tool these people use, or I'm going to come out knowing what, are they on a Postgres database, or are they on, an Oracle or something like that? What are they doing there? And make it your mission to get answers to those questions, because what it does is it demonstrates that this person had a little bit of forethought and has an interest in our business.
Yeah.
I often say that the first thing that any analyst, when you get a job, is you need to learn what the business model is. How does your company that you are a part of earn money? What do you sell, and how do you sell it, and how do you make a profit? And if you go in to the interview wanting to get very clear on that and understand components of the business itself, that it's just going to put you like leaps and bounds ahead of the typical person who's just in there like, what's it like to work here? Like that sort of thing. Like, what's the culture? Like, you're going to get that vibe from the person you're talking to. That's down here.
You got your ask me questions from ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's like, you're not going into interview, you're going into your orientation, your first day of work, and you're already trying to add value. And the only way that you're going to do that is by better understanding something so that you can better contribute to it.
Yeah.
And no, I don't mean you should go in and start immediately making suggestions on how to make things better. That's going to make you look like an asshole. Yeah. Like, you need to go in and be curious. Like, that's thing number one, be curious. And start asking some thoughtful questions that gets them thinking and imagining you working there. So yeah, I would say go in with a mission to learn something about the business.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Did you have like a go-to question that every interview you were like, I need to know this about this person. They're not going to see this one coming?
I did, but it was different for everyone.
Okay.
And usually it was, again, it was centered around like some random thing that I found, because I would like to do a little bit of research and find out the person is like, well, do they have a hobby, or do they have a this, or do they have a that? And I've done enough like random things in life that I can riff on a lot of different things. So I've seen people who it's like, I like photography. And so then I'll ask about cameras and types of settings and lenses. And if it's something about video or a lot of accomplishments in Excel, like just kind of nerding out on that stuff.
I would imagine you could ask some good questions about that.
Oh God, yeah.
For those of you not in the know, Matt here is like the alternate on the Excel Olympics team, basically.
I do like me some Excel, and so those are usually fun questions. And so, no, it's not a canned question I must know, but it's definitely I need a question that I'm going in with my own mission. I guess that's kind of the other way to put it, is like, not only am I going to get answers to all these questions, but I'm going to throw at least one out there that catches them off guard.
Yeah.
And
but let me see how you talk about your passion rather than just the stuff that you've prepared. Like, here's my story to tell about a difficult person. Yeah.
That's actually a good way to frame it, because I think what I'm the point maybe that I'm ultimately getting at is it's not about the question. It's about, can I get this person to light up? Can I get them to be
Okay.
themselves for just a second, and like
Yeah.
light up and tell me about something that's not work, that's a little bit harder to get all fired up about. We can't all just be in love with Excel, right? Maybe it's their dog.
Or
I have
can
no
we?
idea. Or can we? I think we should, but that's for another day.
Yeah. Hypothetical questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, now that prompts another unplanned question. Are you a believer that they should put personal things on their resume, or is that, something that you expect to see more on the LinkedIn profile and their content?
I I like the other skills or interests like type section,
Hmm.
and sometimes people will be more or less adventurous there. That said, I'm less likely to find that interesting mission from the resume. It's often
Yeah, you
something I'm going
expect
to
to
pick
see
up
it
on
in
LinkedIn.
social. Okay.
And again, it could be inspired by anything. It could be just that you studied abroad and you went somewhere
Yeah.
interesting that I want to talk about, or that you worked at a company that I know something weird happened to, or just like there's almost limitless
How was it
angles.
at Enron back in the anyway?
Yeah, tell me about tell me about your time
Arthur
at
Anderson, eh? Good times. Yeah.
Yep, that's the stuff.
Yeah. I had an accounting professor at school back when I was studying accounting, and he had worked at Arthur Anderson, but he would only ever whisper the name. It was a funny thing. Be like, back in my days at Arthur Anderson. Yeah.
Arthur's. Yep. Smart man.
Awesome. So both content creators here, present company accepted. I'm always looking for recommendations for my people, like who I recommend people like this person is giving you the straight scoop about the job market and interviewing and all this sort of stuff. Who is someone that you respect as a creator in that space, in the employment space or just the data analytics space? Who's preaching the gospel out there, according to Matt Brattin?
I mean, you obviously. I think you're definitely doing the Lord's work. Let's just call it what it is. Um, Someone else, kind of in this sphere. Dustin's a good one.
Yeah.
Data ideas.
Yep.
I don't want to butcher his last name, so I'm just going to say
Shimmick.
S. There you go. That's it. Uh, yeah, great dude. I've talked to him a small handful of times, but every time it's been pleasant, and I think that he just does a lot for the community.
Yeah.
And so I would say definitely a good follow, and someone who's always got a lot of helpful information.
Yep.
That's one.
Just named a Tableau ambassador. I saw. I posted.
Oh,
I think he
well,
posted that today or yesterday. But yeah,
wonderful. I think that's
yeah, he's
great.
doing good things.
Good.
The Milwaukee. Cool. Well, so the floor is yours, Matt. We've reached more or less the end of our time. Matt does have a hard stop at the top of the hour. Sadly, because Matt and I could probably sit here, we would cut the recording, but sit here and chat for quite some time. But yeah, Matt, the floor is yours. What do you have something you want to pitch? I know you've always got 100 irons in the fire.
Too
What's your
many.
current venture?
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm currently trying to do, I'll be very transparent because I came into this saying, I'm here to support you. I'm here to support the followers, your community that you're building, and making sure that you get just another perspective. So I'd invite anybody to check me out on LinkedIn if you're not already.
Yeah,
You, you get what you see. Like, I try not to ever be somebody different in front of different audiences. Like,
yeah,
this is one of my goals in life, is to always show up as I am. And so that's important. Now that I am outside of the corporate sphere for the time being, I'm kind of doubling down and trying to figure out what that looks like. So I'm
yeah,
starting a software company called Simplify, which is sales incentive planning simplified. Anybody who's been in charge of sales commission processing on the administrative side knows that it sucks.
yeah.
And I had the great honor of doing that for about 15 years. And I felt as though there had to be a better way.
Yeah.
And as a huge fan and advocate of all things Excel, 70% of people or companies who have commissions are doing them in Excel.
Hmm.
And there are times and places to recognizing the limitations of Excel. And when you're dealing with someone's paycheck, that's one of the areas I draw the line. And the problem is a lot of the tools in the space are big, they're clunky, and they're a pain in the ass to administer, and they're super expensive. So Simplify is supposed to kind of fill that middle void where it's fed by flat files, it's CRM agnostic. That means it costs less because you're not paying for all the maintenance of these integrations, but it's also not big and clunky. It's got best practice plan design baked in.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm passionate about. I'm trying to help people out there.
Okay.
And then
we'll put a link in the show notes, but it's Simplify, SIP
LIFY.io.
Okay.
Yep. So that's I'd say that, and then anything TMB analytics, Excel daily, just just trying to be out there, feed my need to create.
Yeah. Matt is omnipresent. He is across a man of all platforms, and we discuss this quite often, the ins and outs of all of the different social medias. So yeah, you can find him just about anywhere. Funny reels. He's out there smashing mouses with golf clubs. He's doing all sorts of crazy things. Funny jokes about sales commissions, which I did not think was possible.
Actually funny.
Yes, but until Matt did it. But
that's an honor.
Yeah, awesome.
That's an honor.
Yeah. Well, all right, Matt, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate your special insight, and best of luck in all of your ongoing endeavors.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a joy. Until next time.
And folks, Semper Fidelis, and I'll talk to you later. Friends, thanks for joining me for a great show. If you'd like to hear more, I'll have the guests' contact info in the show notes below. If you'd like to get involved with Data Career Academy and find out more about what we do, please visit my website, themajordata.com. Or you can join my LinkedIn group for exclusive free content and first looks at what I'm working on. With that, Semper Fidelis, and I'll talk to you later.